What do you say, baseball fans? Rye Bread talking baseball episode 50. You made it. We got the big win for the Rays, 7-2 over the Royals. They take that series 2 out of 3, move to 500 at home, and even 13. Lucky 13 at home. 13-13. Out west, we're looking at the Padres and Brewers. My goodness. Well, I guess that's a Central West. But that's moving over to the Houston game that we're going to bet later. And then we got some appointment pitchers to look at. The Meadows. Doing the Meadows type things last night. Man, he was going a little bit more gap to gap. Loved it. When the Meadows is hot, the Rays win baseball games, and he's heating up. Man, I noticed also, Brandon Lau's batting average is under 200 now. But his OBP is 320. He's still scoring runs. It's a self-correction, I hope, coming for Lau. That's getting out of control, that batting average. But Wendle, on the other side of that, it's batting 303. It's late in the season. And if you look at Wendle's past seasons, he's 286, 280. He's up there. I was surprised to see Wendle's batting average holding so firm. But all the guy does is hit, so I guess I'm not that surprised. Walls is still dangerous. Taylor Walls is in the middle of the action for the Rays all the time. His on-base percentage is over 400. Choice is over 500. Man, oh man. It's so fun to watch the Rays. But Taylor Walls, man, you can't say enough about how he's just automatically in the mix. And if you need a big hit, if he's up, I like having him up. Number 6 in your program and at shortstop. No coincidence. I'm loving watching him. And Choi just keeps it rolling. And last night with Waka following up McClanahan's left side heater, it was obviously working. They jumped in on it right away and got a 2-run bomb. But then after that, it was all Waka, and then McHugh finished it off. And wow, that couldn't have gone any better for the Rays. Bullpen got a little bit of a rest. They got an off day today, and then they've got the Zacks. They line up against Wheeler and Eflin of the Phillies coming to town, rematch of the first ever World Series appearance for the Rays. I was at that game. Cole Hamels, a little bit boozed up, was giving Hamels a bit of a rough go of it. Oh, I think it was just Chase Utley hit a home run in the first, and that was the difference in the game. I went to all those games. That was a fantastic one. I had the day off for that one. But Rays enjoying an off day on a Friday here and then having that weekend set against the Phillies. It's pretty sweet. The Dodgers and the Giants last night. I can't... Man, David Price starting for the Dodgers. It just kind of a little bit of a nostalgia, if you will. Longo hitting home runs for the Giants. It was like an old Rays reunion out there west. And what a game. An exciting game that the Dodgers end up winning. Dodgers are just tough. Between the Padres and the Dodgers, the Giants are going to have a hard time keeping up. Padres remain in first place, even though they dropped a game to the Brewers last night. Tommy Pham got picked off at second base with Fernando Tatis Jr. at the plate. That's got to be illegal in California, right? It's got to be a city ordinance. Lucky they were on the road. That was bad luck. And then they lose by 1. My goodness. And the A's waited until the 6th inning to score runs because Shohei didn't get the start and everybody who bet first 5 needed him. The A's. I love the A's. The A's win 5-0. The Angels, we're taking them again. Shohei's on the hill at plus 125 for the first 5 innings. And you remember, $5, people. $5. We laid off that Manoah start for Toronto against the Yanks because we thought, well, it doesn't matter what Manoah does. The bullpen could give up 5 runs easily. But when that game switched to a 7-inning game, didn't go back to it. And thankfully I didn't because, wow, Manoah looked every bit as scary as we were thinking he might. But we thought even if he was that good in a 9-inning game, the bullpen could have still given it away. Yankees and Blue Jays end up with a split of their high school doubleheader yesterday. Oh, before we leave that LA and San Francisco game, that is the kind of game that the new guys, the old guys, are complaining about. Home runs, the only way you score, a bunch of homers, and that's the end of it. The fans at that game did not seem disappointed. I'm just saying. They did not seem disappointed in the product on the field. So we can safely move on past that. The bet of the day, though, for us, at that A's first 5, we're just kind of following up on it because that's what we had already done. Luckily, we pushed, just got lucky. And the new one for today, I'm taking Dinelson Lamet. I'm taking for Framber Valdez over Lamet. I was going back and forth, but I think it's at home. I expect the playoff atmosphere. Padres, new kids on the block with the power standings type of. They are new to the top tier, and Houston's going to try and remind them of that at home, a tough place to play. And with Framber back on the hill, he was just hanging zeros for them last year. 0 after 0 after 0. And he was frustrating against the Rays as well, Framber Valdez. So, as improved as Dinelson Lamet has been, I still like Framber, even though it's his first start back. I'm going to take Houston at home because I just talk about how tough they are to beat at home. And this is the game where they're going to try and show that they're still big boys. And San Diego is smoking hot as any team in Major League Baseball. I think they're a half game up on the Rays overall. They have one less. They both have 32 wins, and there's a 1-loss difference in games played. So we're going to be all over that one. San Diego and Houston is going to be the game of the night, especially with the Rays off. And, of course, we're looking A's, Angels. Hopefully the Angels jump out to a big lead, and then my A's can win it late. Ha ha! We can ask. We can hope. But before we go, mustache alert out there in L.A. DJ Peterson made a nice play, hit a bomb, flexing a pretty solid mustache. Impressive. Most impressive. We're keeping an eye on that. He's kind of overtaken. I haven't checked on Brock Holt if he got rid of that beard. He went too much beard. It's no longer a mustache. No longer qualifies as straight stachio. So hopefully Peterson keeps himself hot, keeps himself in the news. Got to keep some mustache power active in the league. But I've noticed it's more prevalent now, and I love it. So scummy on some of these guys. I love it. The baseball card thing that I was mentioning, I was looking around at just some baseball cards that I was thinking, wow, I'd like to have that. These prices of the baseball cards are just out of control. And I talked to my cousin, and she knows a lot about art authentication. And if you want to get this stuff verified, that's going to sell for $3.5 million, $2.9 million, these ridiculous card prices that we're seeing, these autograph cards. The verification process to get a painting authenticated is so specific and individualized that you don't know who's really doing that checking unless you have one. So I went down the rabbit hole on that, but I just wanted to say that the verification limbo that we're in, Beckett's is down right now. I keep checking their site. There's such an overload of people trying to get their cards verified that it seems like that would be a niche business. I'm going to look into how that works, but how hard is it to verify that the card is authentic? I don't think it's that hard, and I think the really top-end cards have markers that you can check. I'm not sure that the authentication process is that important to a baseball card, even though they're selling for $3 million. There has to be something to verify it. So we're going to kind of do a in-depth dive on that. It's kind of my introduction to it here in episode 50. I wanted to have something to bring out that we're actually moving forward for the rest of the season. I'm going to keep an eye on those baseball card prices and try and incorporate that a little bit more because it's fascinating at how much these cards are worth. It was well beyond anything I could have possibly anticipated when I was young. So we'll be on that. Thanks again for checking us out, staying with us for 50 episodes for real. We love you. Don't forget, out in Clearwater, Florida, you've got Bascom's Chop House, best steakhouse around, best wine list around. Tell them I sent you. I'm sure you'll get hooked up nicely. And Bravo Beach Resort. Go on out there and have yourself a little surf camp experience. But that's a luxury hotel. I guess it's not a surf camp anymore. Place is all the way bailed out. Sweet. But we love you guys. We'll see you again tomorrow. We're going to do 162.